Hello, welcome back to my garden. Today we're going to be discussing some of the winners and losers so far this year. Now this growing season isn't by far over, but it's been raining here quite a bit lately and everything is just a wee bit wet. So I thought I'd take a look at some of the winners and losers here in my garden so far this year. Starting off with my geraniums. Now these geraniums I grew from seed earlier this year and they're looking great. And I've never grown geraniums before. But these, I have to say, awesome. I really do enjoy them. These were one of those things where I wanted to try something new, and they've worked out well. Now, these are pelargoniums. So they're basically like an annual geranium, and they don't hold up to colds or frosts. I have heard rumors, and I don't know how true this is, but theoretically, I can cut them back at the end of the season, put them in the greenhouse, and then theoretically, maybe, possibly, they'll come back next year. I'm going to try that with maybe one or two of them. I'm not sure yet, but these guys are definitely a winner, and I'm definitely going to be growing more geraniums next year. And since we're up here on the back deck, let's discuss another winner and loser. In this box here, I have Profusion Red zinnias. I didn't even know that there was a variety of zinnia that grew really short, and it's called the Profusion series, I guess. And these are reds, which are very nice. And they've been going and going and going all season long pretty much. The heat, like many zinnias, doesn't really seem to affect them. The one plant that has been affected that's in this box that you probably can't see are my nasturtiums. Yeah, nasturtiums haven't worked out well for me anywhere in the garden this year, and I've tried different varieties in different locations. This one's supposed to be a trailing yellow variety. I can't think of the name right now. And, oh, wait, here it is. Moonlit nasturtium. There, I found the label. Moonlit nasturtium. It's supposed to be trailing over the box here and yellow flowers, and no matter how much I watered or didn't water, no matter where I've grown them in the garden, none of my nasturtiums like the heat, the sun that we've gotten here in eastern North Carolina. So they are definitely a loser for me. But these zinnias, I'm going to be growing more of next year. That's a winner. Speaking of winners, dahlias in pots. I've never grown dahlias in pots before. All of my dahlias have always been in ground. I never even thought about growing them in pots. And I've been watching Gardener's World, which is a BBC British gardening program. And the host there, Monty Don, he's been doing dahlias in pots for years. And this year I thought, let me give it a try. And so this is my David Howard. And it's shorter than it's supposed to be, but it's growing. And I'm okay with that. At the end of the season, what I'm thinking for this dahlia is I will cut it back like you do all dahlias, and I'll bring it into the greenhouse. And then next spring, I'll give it some fresh compost, maybe top it off, and then put it back out here on the deck. This right here behind me is watercolor mix. Right now, the flowers it seems to be putting out are yellow. It has done orange flowers earlier in the season, and I think it's done some reddish flowers, not sure. Doing well for me. This variety is, I think, at its height, it's supposed to be about 2 foot tall, so that's about where it's at right now. And though these both look a little on the rough side, well, we've had a kind of a rough season so far, a rough growing season, but they're still growing, they're still looking good, and hopefully as the temperature starts to cool, they start to put on a little bit more growth and a little bit more flowers. This is the last bit on the deck, I promise. I was trying to grow tomatoes in a screen bag here to keep the insects off of the tomatoes because I have stink bugs and leaf-legged bugs, I believe they're called. Both of them wind up destroying the fruit. And I thought if I could maybe grow them into a insect-resistant mesh bag, as it were, that would keep the bugs off. No, they somehow either got in as very small juveniles and then grew up, and either way, the bugs got in there, the bugs ate the tomatoes, and it was very sad. So right now I do have parsley growing in this bag, and that is actually a winner right now, and the caterpillars have not gotten to this parsley yet, so that's a good thing. Over here behind me is a petunia from last year that survived the winter. Somehow, don't know how, but survived the winter out on the front stoops. And I wound up putting it into this pot because my wife bought new petunias for out front. And in this location where it gets partial shade during the course of the day, and with all the rain we've gotten lately, you can see it's going gangbusters. So this has really added a nice splash of color to this corner of the deck. Let's go elsewhere in the garden. Here's a definite winner this year for me, is my no-cut flower garden. little bit of a running joke because I didn't want to make a cut flower garden, but these zinnias and echinacea and black-eyed Susans, I can't grow out in my flower garden thanks to the deer. They'll just come along and eat the heads off and eat the plants down, and it's pretty horrible. So I took my in-ground vegetable beds this year and I just planted up a ton of zinnias. As you can see, obviously in the background I have my sunflowers, and these have really worked out really well this year. And I'm already thinking about next year, what can I do to improve it? And one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to make sort of fencing for each row, and to help keep the zinnias from flopping every which way, which they tend to like to do. And then it makes it difficult to get in between the rows and do the deadheading and the such. But these zinnias, just spectacular. I love watching the bees. Right now there's just bees everywhere. Definitely a winner for me this year, and something I'm going to do again next year. Here we are in the flower garden to some winners and losers. First, the losers. Right here at my feet, I have a Bear's Breeches, otherwise known as acanthus, I believe. The label said, and from what I read on the interweb, said it could take full sun, but between the deer and the full sun, these plants, this one and this one over here, have not performed at all. I don't even know if these plants can be salvaged at this point to be moved to a shadier spot. I may try to dig them up this week at some point if it gets a little drier and see what I can do about them. Again, I don't know if there's enough plant there to be saved. But right next to me is a definite winner. This is my hardy banana tree. And oh my God, it's just going for it. It's been loving the heat. It's been loving the sun. This plant will not produce any fruit. It's a hardy banana. And oh, I just noticed a couple of grasshoppers down here. Big guys. I don't know if you guys can see that, which is pretty cool. Sorry, got distracted by the grasshoppers. Now, my only challenge with this plant is going to be the winter time. I have a neighbor who has a hardy banana tree behind their house just across the street, and they have never done anything to the tree. It just dies back every year, and then it just reflushes, and it just seems to go on and on. No special precautions taken. So I'm wondering now, can I do the same with this? Should I take more precautions? Should I wrap it in fleece? Not sure what to do with it or how to treat it, but I'll think about it, and then maybe we'll readdress this when the winter starts coming. Let's go look at a few other things. Right here in front of me and elsewhere throughout this bed, I have foxgloves. This is sort of a cheat. Foxgloves I've always found to be fairly easy to grow, not too much fuss. These guys do get some sun, so they're not full shade. Although I have other foxgloves that do grow in full sun, which they're not supposed to be able to do, but I will not question Mother Nature. Either way, these plants, some of these plants did flower this year, and I shook the seeds all throughout this bed. So possibly, hopefully, next spring, whatever here hasn't flowered will flower next year, and then the seeds that I sprinkled out this year will hopefully start creating new plants next year, and before you know it, this entire bed will be overcrowded with beautiful foxgloves. This right here is blackberry lily. I've tried growing this from seeds several years in a row. This year, or actually I should say last year, I was successful, and then I planted them out into this bed. And what I didn't know was that blackberry lily basically just continues to flower throughout the summer. I thought it might be like many other lilies where they flower once and then they're done. This plant just seemingly keeps putting out flowers as well as seed heads. And I try to trim the seed heads off, and then I get more flower stalks. So either way, I'm pretty happy about that. And even if these are the last of the flowers, I'm still thrilled with it. But the other thing with this plant that I haven't encountered yet, and I might in the upcoming years, is they say it does spread by rhizome. It could start taking over space. I don't see any aggressive growth so far, and I may not. Again, I think all of this depends upon certain environments and conditions and yada, yada, yada. If it does start moving elsewhere in the space, I'd be okay with that too, because these flowers are pretty cool and awesome. Now let's finish on a high note. 2 or 3 years ago, I planted out a salvia over here called Summer Red or Summer Red Jewel or Jewel Summer, something. I can't even remember, and I don't have a tag for it because the plant seems to have died at the time. But what I'm thinking is it went to seed, the seeds spread, and then these guys started popping up. This is all, I never planted any of this. These this year are just, they're here, they're self-seeding. I see a bunch of babies around, so either these guys have already, some of these guys may have gone to seed and started putting on new flowers. Don't know, don't care. They look awesome. And on top of that, the hummingbirds absolutely love these. Especially in the evenings, I get 2 to 3 hummingbirds fighting over these flowers. It's really, really fun to watch. So this was an awesome and unexpected flower for me this year. It's starting to rain again. I think it's only going to be a drizzle. I didn't see anything in the forecast for any heavy downpours, but you never know. But it is drizzling out there right now. Overall, I'd have to say this gardening year has been okay for me. And I think the reason I say that is because I have high expectations every year as to what I want to accomplish, things I want to see grow. And some of it's worked out, some of it hasn't worked out. And I think that's just the way it goes with gardening. So I shouldn't beat myself up too much, because overall, year on year, I think the garden has gotten a little better every single year. And I think it's only going to continue to get better, hopefully, as the years go on. So what's working for you in your gardens? What isn't working that you hoped would work? Again, the nasturtiums, I really, really wanted to work, but they didn't work out for me. And this just may not be the environment for them here in Eastern North Carolina, growing zone 8A. I don't know. If you're further south than me or in the same growing zone and you have nasturtiums growing well, please let me know in the comments below. Again, let me know what's working for you, not working for you. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, click that bell icon to be notified when I do post a new video. This way you can follow along as to what antics are going on here in my garden. It's supposed to be raining on and off the rest of the week, so I have no idea the next video I'm going to be doing. There is always a ton of stuff to be doing around here in the garden. So with all that being said, I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.